Hi, I'm Anna Maria de Freitas. I'm the owner of the Harrison House Suites, the Tucker House Inn, and Coho Restaurant in Friday Harbor, San Juan Island, Washington State. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make a caramelized French toast with cinnamon and berries. So this is the partial finished product. I haven't done the caramelization. It's very much like a creme brulee with a custard on the top, and underneath your guests will have a surprise with the French toast at the bottom. So just a little sneak preview. I've taken some seeded bread. You can use any kind of bread you want. Day old, or if it's a fresh bread, you may want to just toast it slightly. And I've cubed it and put it in the bottom of my ramekin. This recipe works better in smaller containers, so you probably don't want to do this as a big, large casserole. It'll be hard for your custard to set up. So try to keep it to smaller individual portions. So we're going to go over to the stove. I'll show you how to make the creme brulee custard filling, and then we'll come back, we'll caramelize it, we'll plate it, and I'll finish off the dish. Okay, so here we are by the stove, and I'm going to turn my heat on low. So you want a nice saucepan with a heavy bottom when you're doing custards. 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream, and 1/8 of a cup of whole milk. And I have a vanilla bean that I've split down the middle so that as it steeps, the seeds, the little black seeds, will separate. And I have a cinnamon stick that we're going to use to infuse the cream as well. I'm going to lower this just a bit. And I have a couple tablespoons of sugar. And we're going to whisk it. When I do my custards, I always like to temp them to 180 degrees. So the first step in this, we want to make sure that the sugar is nicely melted. So it looks like my sugar's melted. I'm going to take this off the stove just a little bit. I don't want to curdle my eggs. And I have 2 egg yolks here. And again, I could use sugar, but I'm using a little maple syrup. So a couple teaspoons of maple syrup. I'm just going to gently stir this together. And again, I don't want to curdle my eggs, so I'm going to let my cream mixture cool down just slightly. What you could do is what's called tempering the eggs. You could take a scoop of your cream mixture, put it in the eggs, and whisk it so that the egg mixture gets to be the same temperature as your cream, and then add it together and then whisk it all together. And then you can ensure that you won't curdle the eggs. I just have to cool this down just a bit more. So I'm going to add the eggs. Just make sure you keep stirring so you don't curdle them. Keep whisking. Okay, now I'm going to put it back on the stove. I'm going to keep whisking till I reach that 180 degree temperature, and I'm going to keep it on low. I'm about 134. I was at 145 when I took it off. And then now this is just a little patient waiting game. Sometimes you'll see custard recipes that says until it coats the back of the spoon, but sometimes by the time you think it does that, you've already curdled your eggs, so I think a thermometer is always a really good approach. And we're almost there, 177. And there we are. So I'll pull this off, keep stirring, and I'm going to meet you over at the plating station and show you how to finish this dish. Okay, so here we are. I have some Canadian bacon just to finish our plates off. So here's the custard. I just took it off the stove. So I have a strainer, and I'm going to strain it right into a bowl. Actually, we could probably strain it right into the pitcher, but we'll just do it right here. And we'll just let this go here. So the cinnamon stick and the vanilla came out. I'm just going to scrape the vanilla bean. When it's soft, it's easy to get the... Sorry, you'll have to cut around that. So when it's soft, it's easy to get the little black seeds off the vanilla bean. I'm just going to use this pitcher for easy pouring into my ramekin. I'm going to make sure I get all those vanilla beans out of there. And then I'm going to put this in here. Fill this up. We'll let the bread absorb the egg mixture. We'll tamp it down, and then we'll put some more custard on top so that it would look like this, so you can't see the bread. So I'd urge you to err on the small side of the bread. Don't try to fill the whole ramekin up, otherwise it'll be like bread pudding, and you won't be able to caramelize the top. So I'm going to tamp this down. And you can cover this with some film, and then add some more, and then just let this sit in the refrigerator overnight, let the flavors mellow, and then tomorrow prepare a water bath. What I like to do is take the pan, put the pan in the oven with my custards, then add some boiling hot water. So then you're not trying to take this hot pan with boiling water to the stove. It's just a little safer that way. And then I do the same thing in reverse. So as you do the custard, you want to cook for 325 to 350 for about 20 to 30 minutes until the custard is a little jiggly in the middle. The outside will be set. Then as you take it from the stove and you let it rest, the eggs will begin to solidify, and it will actually have the texture as the one I'm showing right here. So let me just move this away, and I'll show you how to finish this plate. Okay. So I have a little granulated sugar. I'm pour this on top. Just make sure it covers nicely. You want to have just a little bit. You don't want it to be too thick of a layer, because then your guests are going to have to use a fork to get through the caramelization. So then you can use any kind of torch. The old plumber's torch works really well. Now we're just going to melt the sugar and caramelize the sugar. So you get a nice caramelization there. And then I have my Canadian bacon. And we'll garnish this with a raspberry and some mint. Oops. And there you have your caramelized French toast with berries and cinnamon. Bon appetito.